never resist life itself. Ever. It is life itself. How could it resist itself? We've created this other thing that we think is real that resists it, and we just identify with that. It makes us callous, indifferent. We lack enthusiasm. And we rely on our judgments of people and situations and value. It becomes very dull. But remember, you're always looking out of your eyes in the present moment. Put some attention there. See what's really in front of you. Because there's no way, there's a process. There's no process the mind's going to get involved in. It's going to make you experience your well-being. Live from a state of joy. Have love. Reach nirvana. Go to heaven. Walk into Valhalla. Any of that. There's no process of thinking that's going to do it for you. You can either gather your life force and have it streaming through what's looking out of your eyeballs without distraction. And you won't need a meaning to life. At all.
I have a question for you. Take a situation where you meet someone for the first time, that you have this premonition something is not right. You know, be on guard, don't trust. And that's a feeling,
Well,
okay?
right.
But is it a feeling, or is it your mind associating that person's persona with something in the past that's made you feel that? You kind of see what I'm saying?
Like when you, like when,
Is that, so is it, are you in the
like
being?
when an old Southern woman sees a hippie. You know what you're talking about?
Or
Darn.
you see a Muslim in the airport.
Very good. That's another one.
Is it your mind or is it the truth?
It's your mind. It looks at that person, right? Because, okay, what does it do? It takes all the dimensions out of play other than the prejudice. That's what the mind does. It can't handle that much information. So it just takes what's in the forefront, what's been pounded into it. What's been pounded into the mind of Americans, Muslims are bad. You ever met a Sufi? A Sufi's a Muslim. You ever met one? Wow. Wow. These people are better at loving one another than Christians are. Right? What people don't understand is you go to these places, when the Taliban's going to hang somebody for breaking Sharia's law, maybe 300 people show up. When the Sufis come to town, 2-3 million. India, same way. Right? When the hammers come down and that weird religion takes shape, there's 50, 60 people around. When all the sannyasis come out of the woods and all the holy men come out of the churches for the Kumbala, or whatever they call it, Kumbale, millions of people show up for that. The Sufis are the whirling dervishes. They are the what else would you call them? They are the mystical side of the Muslim religion. And they're the ones that are actually, to me, they are peace itself, just as much as the Christian can be. These labels we put on people, they're not real. That's just ideas being fed to us. I can program my computer to make a virtual reality, right? And if you're not smart enough, you're going to take it as real when you watch it. Right? So the mind, what do? With Muslims, look, bad, Muslim bad, Muslim bad, Muslim bad, this bad. I mean, it's just constantly hammered down. But there's no truth in that. When you meet an individual, there's no truth in that anymore. When you see what's in front of you, the being in front of you, there's no truth in that anymore. Because they wear these particular type of clothes, that means they want to what, blow you to smithereens? Really? I don't trust white people then, because they tend to go crazy and shoot people more than anyone. You don't think that goes on in our own country? Look at people who lose it here. So why is it, you know, the average looking white guy, he's the one that's the one I have it for. Whoa, dude, what are you gonna do?
But how do you know the difference when it's coming from your mind, but it's an actual intuition that you know?
Yes. So
you
what
are
is
in a dark
intuition?
alley and somebody's following you.
So what is intuition?
So what is intuition? A feeling, or is it the mind?
Huh. Here we go.
You know, she knows. That's where I'm trying to
Right,
get
yeah,
to.
yeah.
She knows.
It's how present you
We don't
are.
know the answer.
It's how present you are determines it. Because how many times have you had a good feeling about somebody, and they turned out to be the worst thing that ever happened to you?
So do you feel it in your body, some part of your body, or how do you know how present you are, I guess?
Only you can know
You
that.
just know it?
Only you can know that. If you can be aware of how you feel and understand when you've made a mistake and not run from that, but focus in on that and see what your need is that creates a situation for you to have that kind of experience, there's where the value's at. Right? The intuition, oh, I know what this guy's about. I know what he's about to do. That's information that you feel. If it's true, you feel it. There's nothing in your head. You don't start going, oh, this guy's going to do that, this guy's going to do this. You just feel it, right? And when you feel it, you only let out so much of yourself. And you do what you have to blows you away. When you have to engage it, oh, well, that's mind. What does life need to engage? What would life itself actually need to engage for its own well-being? Nothing, so it doesn't have to trust anything. Life doesn't have to trust you to exist. Your being doesn't have to trust your mind. And it will exist even more than it does now, if it goes there. If you can allow enough of your ego out of the way, if you can stop putting the crown on the fool and put it on the actual being that's present. Right? But to tell you the truth, the only way you can really know somebody and be accurate is if you're fully in the present moment and it's your being that you are observing them with, not an idea, not a social construct, not based on your fears of the past, based on what's happened to you in the past. Because now you're just getting convoluted with the information. You're influencing it too much. Right? So if you influence your idea of somebody and that creates an emotion in you, that's all you're doing. It has nothing to do with the other person. Like anger. How many times have you been angry at someone, they didn't know it? Who's it tearing up? You or them? So you lose all that. Then you can actually feel what's there. Two people can communicate there. There's no communication outside of the present moment. None. No, not an ounce. It's just garble. Convoluted noise. The only actual communication that can happen is when you're present and you're present presently. If he's off in next week and you're talking about 3 weeks later, there is nothing going on. Unless you arrive here, you're full being. This is not tied up in anything. Looking out of your eyes being right here. What's looking out of their eyes being right here. It's very interesting. There's no need in that. If you have need, you're not going to the present moment. Therefore, you will not experience intuition. Because intuition is nothing more than your being knowing.
Hmm?
The mind doesn't know. It applies titles, labels, it programs, it repeats itself. It doesn't know. It thinks. if you know something, you don't think about it. You only think about something because you don't know it. Like, you know how to pump heart or blood through your heart, so you don't think about it. You know how to breathe, so you don't think about it. You know how to stay alive. You're doing it, you're alive now. So you obviously know how. You don't really think about it though, because you already know how to do it. Now realize that everything in life you already know how to do because you are life. Life knows how to do itself. See how well it does it? Look, we're gonna have another moment coming along here. No seams, no flaws. Look, it was like nothing. It was like it never even happened. Life is flowing like that, seamlessly, flawlessly. If you are in the present moment, and that's where your being is, then you'll know you're there. You won't be making any noise in your head. Everything you do will be an expression. It will not be take this as fact. It will not be this is the law. It'll be an expression. Only that. And there's no conflict in expression.
So then, according to this philosophy, what is the purpose of the mind? Then why do we have a mind? If I think of a fish, the fish has no mind. It's just there, being in the present moment, breathing underwater, eating. It's not afraid to die. It's not afraid to go with that.
Absolutely.
But we evolved from that.
Right.
And now the difference between the fish and us, I think, is that we have a mind. So
Conscious mind.
a conscious mind. So why do we need a mind for?
Stay in
the
this
way
realm.
you're talking seems like the mind is a defect, like something that got in the way. I mean, that's why I'm
Yeah,
saying it.
yeah.
So why do we have one? As if we are the evolved ones on top of the food chain.
I would put it this way: is life only on Earth, or does it exist throughout the entire universe?
To the entire universe.
So it's not just hanging.
And the fish is not aware of that.
Right. So it's just not hanging out just right here, right?
No.
Life is not just hanging out just right here. Okay. If what's looking out of my eyeballs is life itself, then the mind I'm using only applies to this phase of reality. Wouldn't apply anywhere else.
Yeah.
So if I'm life itself and I'm tired of being here, I'm tired of the rent. Why am I paying someone to be on the planet? Who fell out of the right woman to have access to owning this place? That's what I want to know. What makes one person an expert and the other people just have to obey? What makes all this go on? I mean, who's born knowing more than the other? So I'm very bored. Football year after year, year after year, the same thing. Different faces, same thing. You're just passing a trophy around year after year and paying people all kinds of money to do it. Because we're bored here. This level of experience for consciousness is getting really dull. So in order for us to transcend this level of existence and go to heaven, isn't that what we all want, right? We all want to go to heaven, right? Heaven is what? This great joyous place. It's never non-satisfying. Well, obviously this place ain't it, right? So it's not where the mind's at. So it's kind of funny because it's not anything anybody has.